all of this?
Were you thinking you were recording?
No.
You fool.
But seriously, what's going on with your stupid fucking energy?
My stupid fucking energy?
Yeah.
I don't have stupid fucking energy.
You do.
My energy is fucking stupid?
Yeah.
Or it's stupid fucking energy?
I guess I put the fucking in the wrong. Now we're demonetized.
We're never monetized.
And we never will.
On
SMSoup.
Was that waiting for me?
No, I was waiting for you to talk about why your energy's dog shit.
Oh, it's not.
It's very difficult right now. I can tell this is going to be a rough one. And you're not drunk this time. Which made the last one difficult.
This is take 2 on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. I am Spencer.
And I'm Shelby.
Together, we're here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions, like, waiter, is the new Mission Impossible movie continuing the trend of being the best Mission Impossible movie?
Well, waiter, is it?
We'll get to the bottom of that later. Shelby.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Just because it's what we're going to be talking about.
Doubt.
Just because we're going to be talking about it later. We've been watching so many movies lately. The urge to watch movies has returned. No? 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 What's with your stupid fucking energy?
Sometimes I, you know how, sometimes spouses will, roll their eyes at each other over, the dumbest things?
Yeah.
And you'll sit there and be like...
Was that really that bad?
Are people that genuinely unhappy in their relationships?
Are you about to admit that you're genuinely unhappy?
No, I think I can just understand it to a small degree.
You're starting to find your eye rolls?
Yeah. Well, I'm a dramatic bitch, so I roll my eyes a lot.
Sure.
But, sometimes you do this thing where you really get in the mood of saying something and you will say it over and over and over and over. And you say it the exact same way. I don't know how you do it. It's amazing. And it's like a glitch, you know? It's like an auditory glitch.
Yeah.
That I get.
A new phrase has entered my code, and I have to say it at least 100 times in a certain time period, or it leaves it forever.
Yeah. You're saying but the other layer of it is just been really enjoying watching movies, and it's we haven't been watching that many movies.
Way more than normal.
No.
Yeah.
We watch 5 movies every 2 months.
Yeah.
And we
have
so what else have we watched besides those 5?
I'm sure other ones. Right? I think we watched some other ones.
We did watch some other ones. Yes, I'm not saying flat out no, but did we double it?
I'm now realizing 2 of these that I was thinking of. You weren't there. It was just me. I watched them without you.
What movies?
Final Destination, and then Young Woman and the Sea.
That's true. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which just as a
so maybe you have
just as a
done a little bit, but
precursor to in 2 weeks is our movie club, and we have 1 movie left to watch, and then we'll be recording that episode. It's from the year 1975, and we'll be reviewing all of the Oscar-nominated Best Pictures of the year. And wow, we're gonna have so many things to say. I already know it. I just wanted to say that now because I was just looking at my star ratings for some of these, and I can't wait to talk about some of them. In 2 weeks, come back in 2 weeks.
Good, bad.
I think all over the place.
Interesting.
Yeah. How are you, Spencer?
I'm good.
That's good.
Thanks.
Sure. Yeah.
Been watching a lot of movies.
There's a lot of movies I want to watch.
I know. I fucking know, dude. I know. You've said it so many times. And yet nothing has changed. We've Or we have watched some of them, yet somehow there's still so many that you want to watch. But anytime I'm like, oh, we want to watch a movie? You want to do this? You're like, I don't really want to just sit on a couch and rot. Just make up your mind. Just make up your mind. Oh, Marone.
A lot of emotions here. I didn't realize I've been exhausting you so much.
It's just hearing it.
Sure.
It's just hearing it.
Sure.
It's like a sound that is just off in the distance, that is droning on and just will not stop, and I've clued in on it.
And it's my voice.
No. It's the specific saying.
Yeah.
When will it end?
When I've watched all the movies.
Bullshit. I feel like we should get out ahead of it.
We should.
6 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
If you came to watch this, hoping to hear loose and spoiler-free discussion around Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, you're unfortunately not going to get that.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be spoilers.
Because, yeah, we're going to be diving into our overall thoughts. If you don't know, Shelby and I love the Mission Impossible movies. We can try and be as spoiler light as possible until like the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, we can try. I mean, I think if you, as dumb as it is, as if you've seen a few Mission Impossible movies, like, I think you kind of like know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's not like it's predictable.
Yeah, but you don't know
outcomes.
Luther's gonna die.
That was insane. That was insane. Insane to just say that out. That was insane. You're crazy. We gave them barely a minute warning.
He doesn't die. Yes, he does.
Stop.
Oh man.
Jesus.
No, that's what you get. Don't undermine me. Don't undermine me, because I said we were gonna be spoiler free, and you go, if you've seen a Mission Impossible movie, you've seen them all. You know what's gonna happen.
I mean,
do you know Luther's gonna die?
It was my guess that he was gonna die.
No, your guess was that one of them was gonna die.
And I said if it made sense for either of them, it would be Luther.
I said Luther because the dude doesn't stand.
I said Luther because I just think you can't have a bunch of hard asses.
No, you said Luther because you're racist. So anyway, there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, there's going to be, in case you weren't realizing it this far, 8 minutes into the episode.
No,
spoilers.
Starting now. Luther does not die. Starting now, there are going to be spoilers, though.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to hear spoilers for the movie, I mean, like Shelby said, a lot of it is predictable. You know there's going to be high intensity action and everything like that. But at the end of the day, why are you looking at me like that? At the end of the day, there are still a couple of things that are like good to be surprised at the movie. So spoilers start now. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, now that everybody's gone, Luther does die.
Anyway.
Yeah, so, if you don't know, Shelby and I love the Mission Impossible movies. We, just last year? Watched them all and, re-ranked them and everything like that. I don't know if you still have our rankings by chance. I'm pretty confident in mine. I don't know if I don't know. Because basically, the way I like to think about it is 1 and 2 are definitively the worst 2. And you can put them in whatever order you want. And then, honestly, I'm fine with anybody's ordering of 3 through, I'd say 7 at this point.
I don't see them anywhere on here, so I don't know where I saved it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Rabbit's Foot up through Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is now just Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
I feel like you can order those in any order, and it's like objectively a fine order.
Agreed.
But yeah, 1 and 2 don't deserve any of that. And then yeah.
And you and I sort of go by the idea that obviously because the story's building and all of this, it does feel like each movie gets better than the last. I don't argue with anyone who's like, I just really liked like whatever 5 or whatever, but it does feel, from someone who really enjoys the franchise, it feels like every movie gets better. Of course, the action gets more intense. They try crazier things.
Right.
You start to have certain, I'll just say, villains like carry through.
Yep.
Like you really do start to have a more and more through line versus each one being such its own thing.
They also keep figuring out ways to raise the stakes.
Yes, they do.
With the, not just like the stunts and stuff and the action, but like
what's
like
at
whatever,
stake. Yeah.
Whatever the thing that's going to take over or break the world or or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
it does feel like they get better.
We did rewatch 7
Yeah.
before watching 8. 7 is Dead Reckoning. Again, part 1, but now just Dead Reckoning. I think upon rewatching it, I can pretty firmly say that I think Fallout is better than it.
I think the same.
But 7 is still strong. So like you could.
Well, so is 7 setting you up for what we just watched?
Sure.
Just like how wasn't there
I think
5 set
set
you
up
up
6,
for Fallout?
A decent bit.
Yeah, and Fallout was like super like satisfying.
I think the reason Fallout is so good is because, and this is my biggest gripe probably with 8, is that Fallout doesn't hold your hand. Fallout just starts jumping right into it.
Correct.
It just goes. And so it's 0 to 100 immediately.
Correct.
And this movie was not. And
No.
I think they were trying to give it the feeling of like, this is it. This is it, guys. And then you get to the end and it's like, is it?
It feels like they're leaving it up to what everyone's feeling in 6 months.
They're leaving it up to when Tom Cruise starts going through withdrawal and is shaking because he hasn't gotten an adrenaline high. And then
it does kind of scream, if this is the end, we gave you a satisfying end. But if it's not the end, we didn't end ourselves and then thus have to explain out why we're not actually done. It felt like they tried to do both. Because, very much like, I mean, probably the first like 20 minutes of the movie alone, they're like, reflect on this career you've had, Ethan. Reflect on all what you've done. Reflect on all that you've given up and what you've gained and like blah, blah, blah. They're like really making him think about it or whatever, or he's just reflecting on it or whatever. And it does feel like so many moments are like, this is it for us. Like it just like, again, not saying anyone says those words, but it very much gives that tone most of the movie. But then, the end is pretty like ambiguous.
Leaves the door open.
Yeah.
Just ajar.
Yeah.
Just a wee crack.
Again, one of those things where it's like, if the rumors are true and we never see Tom Cruise in this role again, it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Or like maybe he'll just be kind of like a pop-up character who's maybe guiding a new character if that's the route they go. They didn't remove him from the universe is basically where we're at.
Luther died. Tom Cruise did not. Ethan Hunt did not.
But the thing that drove me insane in the hand-holding way was like, it felt like they had to give every movie prior to this movie a purpose in this movie. They had to be like, because you did that. Like they almost tried to have a multiverse. Like I know it's not a multiverse, but they tried to have that moment of like Marvel cinema where it's like everything's connected.
Yeah.
Oh my God, aren't you so happy you watched all these years of movies? But instead of just like maybe very, very mildly hinting at things just by saying a quick word, instead of literally fucking showing you the movie from like literally cut the movie, like as they're talking about it, they're cutting to the movie. Like they bring up Rabbit's Foot, they cut to Rabbit's Foot
My favorite part,
and show you the movie. And it's like, you shouldn't be here if you didn't see that movie.
Think back to when we rewatched all of them, right?
Yeah.
And we watched the first one and the helicopter crash that happens in the tunnel.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
It's so bad. And then it's also terrible because they just cut it and they use that.
Yeah.
And it's like, this looks like dog shit compared to today. Why is this in a Today movie?
But like, I don't understand. It was like, that was really annoying, was having to give everything he'd done up to this point a purpose and then physically showing you him doing it.
I'm like,
that it's like, I don't know. It just felt so like obnoxious.
I'm fine with it.
I'm okay if you say, "Hey, you remember this? It's actually this."
So the guy who was like after him in in Mission Impossible 7, right?
Yeah.
Who's like after him the entire movie.
Yeah.
Is back for this one, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, do you remember your boss in Mission Impossible 1?
Right.
That's my dad.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Just give the name.
Just say the name, and people who are nerds,
people who are in it will get it. People who aren't won't even care.
Exactly.
They won't sit there and go,
But they literally showed us.
Instead, they show us the guy, and it's like, if you're watching it and you don't know who it is, how does that help you? Like, I guess it helps bridge the gap between, like you said, like the really like in it nerds and then like
people who see it but probably don't remember everything and
like
haven't watched the movie in how many years. It was insane.
But also, if you haven't watched the movie in how many years,
then you don't care.
That's gonna be lost on you. That movie's 30 years old.
Yeah. The amount of like needing to cut back to old movies was very odd.
The way I said it to you after we watched it was, I think it's an insane thing to hold an audience's hand for the 8th fucking installment of a movie.
Yeah.
I think they should have gone with Mission Impossible 7 might have been your first Mission Impossible movie, and it probably would be fine. Like,
sure.
You don't really understand the like true relationships that like Benji, Ethan, Luther have. Rebecca Ferguson's character, who I'm forgetting. If you're looking at the newest one, she's not going to be in there.
Even with her 1 second
or
cameo?
Really far down.
Ilsa, isn't it?
Yes, Ilsa Faust.
Ilsa Faust.
You won't really understand who she is. So like there is some of that, but like,
but technically that doesn't matter in this movie.
The 8th movie, all you need to have watched technically is the 7th.
Yeah.
And
like,
they could have just done that. And they could have said like,
they could have caught you up to speed with the baddie from movie 7.
If you truly cared, when you watched 7,
you'll go back.
You should have said, I should catch myself up. I will watch 1 through 6 before 8 comes out.
Right.
I'll watch 7 again.
Right.
And then I'll watch 8 because I'm a true fan. Or I'm just here to have fun. Mission Impossible delivers on fun. So just give me fun. Don't give me fucking an hour. I don't know how long that was because the rest of the movie ripped.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie was,
it did
typical
feel like the
Mission
first
Impossible.
Third. You were like,
was it a third?
It felt like it.
Because here's the thing.
I don't know.
You know that like there were parts towards the end where it's like, we have 10 minutes until the end of the world.
Yeah.
That there's no way that was only 10 minutes of like our time watching, right?
Right now.
It was an hour. It felt like the longest 10 minutes.
Was this movie?
I know, that's what I'm kind of getting at. So that makes me believe that all the slow shit up front might have only been 20 minutes, but it was so goddamn slow.
Yeah.
It felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Whereas when they were doing all the sick, awesome shit, and they were like, yeah, we only have 10 minutes, and we keep cutting back to the clock, and we just watched 3 minutes of Tom Cruise running.
Yeah.
And then we came back, and there's 9 minutes left on the clock. It's
right.
Anyway.
No, you're right.
So I have no gosh darn way of understanding like the actual pacing or movement of the movie.
Yeah.
Because like the one part of it was so damn slow.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was like peak Mission Impossible. So it's like you want to say that it was roughly the first third, but if we actually went and watched
it could be very
the
wrong.
movie's 2.5 hours, 3
something
hours.
like that. Yeah, 2.5. I think you're right. 170 minutes.
So that's 250.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we could go back and watch it. Once it's like on a streaming service or whatever, and pause it at the point where I'm like, this is where it finally starts to get good. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like, yeah, it's only been 30 minutes.
It's
just a really slow 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh. The rest of that movie that felt like a snap of the finger because it was so quick was actually 2 hours and 20 minutes. Would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah.
Because that's peak Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Literally, I do want to be clear. I know we spent now quite a while complaining. That was like, I know that is a big fault, That was my only fault with it. Was like that first bit.
100%.
Like I'm not joking. Like
100%.
as soon as like you said, like we both agreed there was like a moment where it finally felt from there on out.
There's a scene where, again, I'm imagining people have watched it if they're still listening, or they don't care.
So. Yeah.
Well, like, it's when they're in like the Doomsday Vault, bunker, whatever, and it's the generals and secretaries of defense and everything like that, and then the president, and like he's doing his one last, I'm the only person who can do this and it's impossible and it might not work and all that, but like we got to do it, we got to try, and he was like convincing them. That's when the movie finally started to pick up, in my opinion, and then from that moment on it just completely ripped. There's a lot of stuff up front. Again, it was just a lot of like, we're just making sure you truly understand that these are the biggest the stakes have ever been. They could not possibly get bigger until the next one.
Yeah. Again, the recapping was just really annoying.
But like,
it's just like trust. Like again, if you need to reestablish, again, assuming someone's only seen 7, if you need to reestablish like that they're fighting the entity.
Yep.
And that it's what, like Isaac or something, or what's the guy's name? Gabriel, sorry.
Isaac.
Gabriel is like the baddie that they're fighting. Like if you need to like reestablish them, that's fine, because they are like the point of the 2 movies.
Yeah.
Outside of that, just like literally trust that people know your stuff, or we'll figure it out afterwards. That's not on you.
Yeah, no, 100%.
One thing that was really fun about it, which also made it feel like this is the last one, was the cast. And I'll put them, they were like borderline just cameos. Like,
yeah,
the cast of this movie was so insane and ridiculous, and it screamed like, I love this franchise. I wanted any opportunity to be in it, even if it's for like a minute and I say 2 lines. I've been in it, and it's like, again, it made it feel even more so, just kind of knowing the trend of TV.
It's really funny.
It screamed, this is the last one.
It's really funny. All of the people, I would say, I mean, Nick Offerman was probably the biggest cameo person.
Probably in terms of
in terms of like the average person would recognize him, although he doesn't have his patented Ron Swanson mustache, but like he's Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Right. Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso was a general, or an admiral, sorry. Go ahead, sorry.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I would say Nick Offerman is the most like well known to the average person, probably, sure. Right? Or like far enough back.
Sure.
In terms of being in like the zeitgeist.
Sure.
Every single person though who was in it was very much a part of a very big like moment.
Yeah.
So what was her name? Sorry.
Hannah Waddingham.
So obviously she's massive now because of Ted Lasso. She was like in a ton of stuff. She was in Game of Thrones, and you like don't realize it until you go back and watch stuff, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the team owner from Ted Lasso. Like she's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And literally Gabriel is the drug dealer from Ozark, and like Ozark was like kind of a peak television moment. We know Tom Cruise is like this cinema, and like I would imagine it crosses over into TV too, because he literally gets Mr. Milchek from Severance.
Yeah,
he literally has
Tremel Tillman.
He literally has the dad from Iron Claw.
Yeah, he does.
Who was also in Mindhunter, but like dad from Iron Claw was getting tons of acclaim. So you have to like wonder, like, did Tom Cruise watch these like products and then
he was like, I want them,
and then immediately go like, wow, that gal gave a great performance.
Yeah,
I want them in my next Mission Impossible movie.
Maybe.
I could totally see that being a thing, because it's like very, very specific things.
Yeah,
and again, none of these people are like really superstar level, but yet everybody there probably would recognize half of the people. You know, there was like 6 or 7 total. So like, you would probably be like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Yeah.
Right? felt very intentional.
It did.
Very, very,
It
like,
did.
very, very, like, smart picks.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
And all were great. All were fun.
Yeah,
they were
and,
like
they
fun.
pop up and you, like...
Yeah, you're excited.
You almost think, like, the crowd's going to start cheering.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a sitcom crowd going,
Yay! Yeah. Speaking of Tom Cruise being a huge fan of cinema, you and I both, like, almost shrieked when, before the movie even started, he, like, basically filmed a little, like, thanks so much for coming out. Like, we can't wait. Like, obviously, they poured a lot into this. It's a big deal, blah, 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 blah. And both of us were like, why did we feel so honored that Tom Cruise is thanking us for going to the movies to see this?
Yeah, he's just a fucking dork.
Yeah.
Like, he's just an absolute, like, slut for cinema.
He loves movies, and he loves movie theaters. Yeah. How often do you think he goes to the movies?
Very.
You think so? Like,
yes.
you think he actually follows through?
Probably.
I hope so, with how much he talks about it. But yeah, that was very exciting.
Yeah, no, he constantly has... I mean, he probably gets, like, private screenings.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, he constantly has pictures of him, like, in front of the stupid, like, cardboard cutouts for, like, massive films.
Okay.
Like, he did it for Sinners, and then, like, posted a picture of him, like, in front of it, like, thumbs up, and then, like, a little blurb about how, like, it's the greatest thing he's ever seen, and everybody needs to rush to the theaters to go see it. Like, he just does that for everything.
Yeah, he loves going to the movies.
Nobody else, no one goes out and says anything about any of his movies or any of their own movies to the degree that Tom Cruise will go out and hype up somebody else's movie.
Yeah.
So funny.
It is funny. But yeah, that was fun. If you go to theaters to see it, you should get a nice little message in the beginning.
Or maybe he'll pop up.
Or maybe he will. Maybe. But yeah.
Did you see the video of him when they were doing like the first week of screenings or like
the whole popcorn bucket thing?
The popcorn bucket thing where... Which one are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Go ahead. I might just be thinking of you recounting it to me.
Well, he was talking to like
staff. Yeah.
And somebody was like, he literally spent 15 minutes thanking them and all that shit. But no, there's video of him walking into the theater to like get up on like a stage to like thank everybody who's there. Like he's in person. It's a packed theater, and he walks in and he walks by somebody who has a bucket of popcorn, but they already had finished it before it even started. And he was like, "What are you doing? You already finished your popcorn." And I'm just imagining if Tom Cruise said that to me, I would
cry.
I would never leave my house again. I would be so ashamed that I embarrassed myself like that. In
that
front
is
of Tom
kind
Cruise.
of insane that you finished your bucket before anything started. That's really funny.
He's got like, there's so much shit about him where it's like, he eats like 2 buckets of popcorn for every movie.
Yeah.
Because he loves popcorn so much.
Yeah. He loves everything about the movies. Yeah.
He's an absolute freak.
I wonder if this is now just me talking about Tom Cruise. I wonder if he's someone, I don't read a lot of like I actually don't think I've read any like famous people memoirs, but if he ever wrote one came out about him in the future, I would absolutely I think I would read it. I'm so curious. I have so many questions.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like he gets such a bad rap literally just because of the whole Scientology thing.
Which in some ways is very valid.
Sure.
Like incredibly valid.
But like he's never out there like ringing that bell or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
It's just like a known thing.
Yeah.
You know, like who even knows what his involvement is with it anymore. And it's just so funny because like anytime you bring him up, people will have such visceral reactions sometimes about Tom Cruise. And I'm just like, I feel like there are way worse people to get excited about outside of a guy who literally just like knows how to make a good action movie that keeps you entertained.
Yeah. I agree.
I just think it's really funny. I think it's really funny that like that one thing people just can't get over. And it's just like, what about the like devout Christians who are in movies and TV and inject all that in?
Right.
I've never walked away from a Mission Impossible movie going like, I think I do understand Scientology now. I'm going to go to my nearest one and start signing up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, very biased because I've always been a Tom Cruise fan. So, I know that's not really the most fair. I don't understand. Again, like you're saying, I think there are actors and actresses who it's like, when people are like, oh my God, they're like my favorite. And you're like, okay, but they did blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, like there are moments where you're kind of like, okay, but they still did something pretty fucking bad.
Right.
Like to my knowledge, outside of, again, Scientology, which I don't support or believe in or anything.
Sure.
That's like that is the only thing that I've ever been told is like about people being anti Tom Cruise.
Right.
Whatever. Then you're probably anti, like, I don't know, at least 20% of Hollywood, I guess. At least if I'm just guessing off the top of my head.
I don't know.
It could be more, it could be less. I don't know. But whatever.
Back to the movie. I will say that the first, that first whatever amount, again, I have no idea.
Sure.
But that did really hinder the movie for me.
It was rough to get into. It did not
continue the trend of being able to say, I can definitively say that 7 is better than 8.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Again, I'm already pretty sure that I could sit here and say 6 is better than 7.
Sure.
Breaking the pattern.
Sure.
But also I like that pattern because my favorite movie, Shawshank.
Yeah.
If I actually sat here and thought about it, I'd go fucking crazy trying to figure out what my favorite movie is.
Sure.
So it's very easy just to hone in on one thing.
Yep.
Stick to that plan.
Yep.
And when somebody asks, you have a thing to answer with.
Yep.
And you can defend it to some degree.
Yeah.
So I think, again, being able to just say, I think every single one just gets better because it's such a tight margin between them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 8 really was hurt by that first part. But I will say that the rest of it literally is on par with every other Mission Impossible movie, basically. And I was also thinking about it because there are so many moments in every Mission Impossible movie, but this one especially, where you feel like you're holding your breath.
Yeah.
And in this one, mainly because he's going underwater, which is the fucking worst watching movies. I hate it so much because I literally feel like I stop breathing. I feel like I'm I don't think any words were spoken that entire time. I'm trying to think if they were intercutting other stuff, and I guess they probably were. But literally thinking about him leaving the sub and trying to get to the other.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was just straight through just that.
You might be right. I think you're right because they cut from Grace going out into the ice.
And that was it.
And then you watch Tom Cruise and you watch him do the whole submarine thing, which was crazy. And you know everything's going to go wrong, but you're still sitting there watching it.
Again, you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
You're holding your breath. It feels like, how long do you think all that was? 20 minutes?
I don't know. It
feels
crazy.
like forever.
It was such a good use of tense, instead of because it was so slow. It was so slow for an action scene for Mission Impossible, because the other water scenes have been the one where he gets stuck in
the fan,
which has speed to it.
Yeah.
He's literally on a clock, which he is here too, but the way it's shown to you is so much more slowed down and stressful.
And thankfully they're not constantly inundating you with a clock for this, because then it would have gotten,
that's normally the move,
I think, just too far-fetched.
Yes.
They tell you, they say you only have this amount of time.
Yes.
And once again, we know that it had to have been longer than that. But yeah, it wasn't so much exciting as it was thrilling.
Yeah.
Because again,
it wasn't shown as a beat the buzzer situation, even though that's what's happening.
No, not entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was crazy.
Literally, no talking for,
mm-hmm.
again, we could go back and watch it, and it's it was only 10 minutes.
Sure.
But it just feels like an eternity because it's so drawn out and, so methodical about how he needs to get in, and they're very practical, I guess, and realistic in some regards to, how he would get in, how he would need to get to the place. Obviously, water's coming in. Obviously, the thing is wrecked. Obviously, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And it's just they actually show you him getting in, him getting there. It's not just he reaches the sub. Now he's at the place within the sub that he needed to be. It's no, we're going to show you him get from fucking point A to point B. And it's going to take him as long as it takes him.
The thing that was also very endearing about this movie in comparison to others was he genuinely needed strangers, mostly United States government's officials, to trust him, which normally he's on the run from. Normally he's faking them out the whole time. Normally he's evading them at every turn. And he was some of them, obviously. But he literally, which the setup for this, again, takes a minute. But once you're finally doing it, it was satisfying. He is literally having to do something you've almost never seen him do, is have to like actually convince.
That's a really good point.
Again, a lot of military and government officials to trust him, not think he's freaking insane, borderline, like possibly go against their orders. Like he's having to convince a lot of very important people to trust him. Trust him. Like not go with your instinct, not go with what you were told to do.
Yeah.
And again, that's not really something. If it happens in the movie, it's like one person. Like you're waiting on the decision of one person. He had to like convince like how many people, or the team would have to convince a person that like we don't need to fight this out. Like if we literally work together, like we can do it. It's possible. Like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But so that was like a very endearing part of it. Was literally it's like the whole idea is the world's gonna end if he doesn't succeed. So in order to fix it, you like need the trust of other humans to like get the job done, right? Like it actually is working together to like fix the problem. So like that was pretty great. Like that part of it, actually like leaning into that pretty hard without letting it be like too much of a focal point. Like obviously he's not like, you know, you're not listening to dialogue forever and ever and ever, but you are watching him have to like really get people to trust him.
Yeah.
Which is also where most of the cameos come in from all the stars and stuff, which was fun. But yeah.
I also, one other thing that I felt like was kind of great, and I feel like they really did a good job with it. Obviously in Mission Impossible, really nobody ever dies except for the bad guy.
The bad guy, or every 3 movies, the love interest.
Yep. And whether it's like a physical death or a spiritual one.
Yeah. Right.
Right. But like more often than not, though, like the squad is the squad. Not too many deaths. Yeah, maybe like one. But like Luther, Benji, Ethan
have been a trio since.
They have been the squad since, I think, the second or third one.
Yeah.
I think the second one was Luther in the second one, and then Benji was the third, or were both Luther and Benji the third?
I want to say Benji was finally fully brought in on the third. Like they started fully utilizing him, and he just like I don't quite. I might be messing it up.
Maybe he popped up in the second.
Yeah, like I think we knew of him, and then they were like, "Oh, we know a guy who can get us this," and I think in that he became a part of the group.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. But
regardless, like they've been the core now.
Yeah.
Like for how many movies?
It's almost hard to see their lives fully at stake because they almost never are.
Yeah.
Almost.
And again, typically, just in general, like anybody close to the team normally doesn't die. Maybe every now and then you get one person, and then it's always like the bad guy.
Yeah.
In this one, like Luther died.
Yeah.
As we established at the 7-minute mark, and then reestablished after I fooled everybody into leaving, thinking that I wasn't going to give any spoilers. Luther dies, and it's just like, wow, they actually did it. Like that takes guts a lot of times to like finally like admit that you need to kill off a core character. There has to be meaning. There has to be loss to a larger scale. And there's no greater way of doing that than killing Iron Man, than killing, Luther.
Yeah.
Right?
Luther and Iron Man, the same.
Pretty much. No, Ethan's more the Iron Man, but I digress. It kind of allowed, in my mind, you to give them a little grace, because there's nothing worse than when in these movies it's like, we're all gonna die. Oh wait, I just remembered a loophole.
Yeah.
We aren't gonna die.
Yeah.
And they did that towards the end.
They did. I was afraid. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kill the whole team. I was like, everyone's dead.
They're gonna kill 3 more people.
They really set you up. Like they really.
And then at the last second, the 3 people are like, I can buy us 10 seconds, and it's just like, that doesn't seem realistic. Yeah. But okay. And it's like, we delayed it and got 10 seconds, and we made it, and we lived.
So many things.
And it's like, you know what though? I'll give you the pass because
I love it.
You pulled the trigger and you killed Luther.
You gave us something. Yeah.
You didn't just say like, no consequences.
Yes.
We're free. We're untouchable, like you said.
Yes. Right.
So it kind of like helped make up for that a little bit.
Yeah. I also love, this is not a major spoiler. They show it to you in the first like 10 minutes of the movie. I love that the character Paris didn't actually die. The one who helps him survive the train in movie 7.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she's still there. And like, I love the team that's forming. It does feel like they're opening themselves up to like morphing into a new team and kind of slowly the older people dropping out sort of thing. Because yeah, you have Paris, obviously you have Grace, and then the man who like did work for the government, but
FBI.
seemingly just walked away from his job. I guess
he got removed.
Did he?
Because Ethan was able to steal the database.
No. I'm talking about. Yes, you were right. That's correct.
Oh, you're talking about
the younger gentleman.
Yeah.
This guy, who was like.
Oh, he was in Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
That's really funny.
That is really funny.
Of course.
Gregory Davis Jr., or known as Greg Tarzan Davis.
And he was with, like, it was him and the other guy who was the son of the first head of Ethan Hunt's team.
Yeah.
He was working with the son to try and find Ethan in movie 7. In part 7.
Yeah. Which you saw him be like, maybe Ethan's right. Like, not saying I know that for a fact. You see him already wavering and like, who does he support?
If he's always going rogue, don't you think he always has a reason to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, like, it was really sowing the seeds for like, he's going to side.
Like, no, we got to catch him.
But yeah, like, I'm assuming he's now part of the team. They kind of just like brought him with, and then he never left, and I was like, okay, we're not going to acknowledge that he's kind of just like his superior who was with him the whole movie 7 asked once, is he alive, like acting like the team is keeping him hostage. And he's like, which I get it, out of like fear, that would be your first thought. Then it's never brought up again that he's now just with them. Yeah, like he's just with them, like we don't, which is like fine, I guess you didn't need to tell, like you don't need to explain to me. Obviously, he's probably just going to become absorbed by them and become a part of the team. But like, just really funny. Like, government doesn't care that technically someone did just go rogue, who they arguably don't want going rogue, versus the people they're used to going rogue. Like, it just felt very like, and this guy's also here. Yeah. But I mean, again, big fan of him. I think he's a fun part of the team. It just was funny not acknowledging him joining them.
Very funny.
Because, yeah.
Just literally just like Band-Aid rip. Like, I know. Yep. He's with us now.
So that was funny. But yeah, it definitely feels like they're trying to form a slightly younger team that will maybe slowly
a new
morph.
Avengers, if you will.
Kinda. It kind of feels like they're doing that very slowly. Hinting at it, I'd say. With
Florence Pugh is confirmed to be the next Ethan Hunt.
That would be crazy. And then, yeah, they'll probably have Ethan and Benji. I'm assuming they'll be there to kind of guide them through whatever.
Well, who would take the mantle as like the next Ethan?
I don't know. That's the question.
I think it's Glenn Powell.
You really think so?
I think if there is somebody, they would bring in like a full-fledged new person.
That's fair.
And like,
no, I don't think you're gonna make one of them.
Like, it wouldn't be Grace, because Grace
Agreed.
is like the pickpocket. Like, she has
Agreed.
her like set thing.
Agreed.
She's not international super spy.
Agreed.
So I feel like they'd have to bring somebody.
I do agree with that. I don't know who.
Like, Glenn Powell was the one that
Tom Cruise
was like,
said.
if I was going to give the keys to the kingdom to anybody, it would be Glenn Powell.
I'm intrigued if there will be reports of a new movie. I know it's like this just came out, so we won't hear anything for a while. Will there be reports of a new movie? And in that new movie, will we sort of be introduced to maybe the new Ethan Hunt?
I mean, I would imagine if we get a new one, that would be my guess. If we got a new one that is actually like led by Tom Cruise again, after all of this, I'll be a little annoyed. I'll be there. Yeah. But I'll be a little annoyed.
But a little upset about it.
Like, I'll be upset upon first hearing the news, and then I'll have forgotten about how upset I was.
Yeah.
I kind of said the joke, but Florence Pugh would kind of be pretty great.
She would be a lot of fun to see in that.
Obviously, she has plenty going with Marvel. So
yeah, but still.
But yeah, final thoughts. Anything else you want
Very
to say
enjoyable
about it?
movie. If you like Mission Impossible, you're gonna like this movie.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
It's entertaining.
It's probably like a 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Maybe an 8.
Yeah. I do. If you've listened to this and you've literally never watched a single Mission Impossible movie,
You technically don't have to.
You don't have to. I mean,
re-explain everything.
Yeah, we've really said it all. But I mean, I also think if anyone is a fan of action, like, how have you not at least tried the movies?
It's a great series. And
it's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
Just don't watch the first 2, which is an insane thing to say.
But you can get away with it. They kind of do reestablish everything in 3.
The sequels do genuinely just kind of get better. So
yeah. But yeah, if you have seen the whole series or you've watched 8 or 8, we're up to 8. And if you have any thoughts, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
You can find both of our socials in the description of the episode. You can find SMSoup Podcast on all streaming services, including YouTube. And until next, remember we have Movie Club in 2 weeks, 1975. Lots of thoughts, lots of feelings.
You do, I don't.
And then Grogu does, I don't. And then until next week, stay brothy.